But Godrej Properties reported a good set of Q4 numbers, with the company witnessing a 135% jump in bookings. Their net debt also declined. The company has given a strong guidance for FY25, targeting bookings at 27,000 crores. Our colleague Sonal caught up with Pirojsha Godrej, the executive chairman, and began by asking him about the quarter gone by and how they see growth going ahead. Listen in.
I think when we look at FY25, a few things give us confidence about being able to meet the 27,000 crore booking value guidance we've provided, which is about a 20% year-on-year growth. I think firstly, of course, the market itself is providing us a lot of support. We're seeing consistently across several new launches, very robust demand levels. Last quarter, for example, we had two of our best ever launches, one in Gurgaon called Godrej Zenith, where we sold over 3,000 crore of inventory in just 3 days. Another called Godrej Reserve here in Mumbai, where we sold about 2,700 crore worth of inventory in March. So I think, we're seeing very robust response to good projects by credible developers. And I think we feel that the kind of business development we did over the last 3 or 4 years has left us well positioned to have a launch pipeline in FY25 that can support this kind of growth. The second thing I would add is that, we have in FY24 seen a couple of our regions really perform outstandingly well. In NCR, for example, we had sales growth of 180% and were able to cross 10,000 crore in bookings. In Mumbai, we saw an over 100% growth to 6,500 crore. But if we look at it, actually, we feel a couple of our other key markets like Bangalore and Pune actually had only kind of moderate growth levels. And when we look at our portfolio this year, we feel very confident that all 4 of our existing major regions will be seeing strong growth. And I think that creates a couple of additional geographies through which we can grow rapidly. Another thing I'd like to point out is that in Q4, we entered the Hyderabad market for the first time through the addition of 2 projects there with a potential booking value of about 5,000 crore. So we have several new geographies that we think can show substantial growth over last year. And even the ones that did perform very well last year, like NCR and Mumbai, given the plans this year, do have the opportunity to grow. So I think the combination of all of those things leaves us quite confident that we can meet this relatively large booking value number of 27,000 crore.
The way things are going, it's a possibility that you might exceed as well, because that's what happened last 2 financial years as well, Pirojsha. But your sales have gone up 3 times. That's just in last 3 years. Of course, we are talking about this big real estate cycle boom that we saw. Do you think growth rates will stabilize now from here on? And the 3 times number that I spoke about will take a longer time for you to reach?
Well, yes, 3 times in 3 years on this larger base might be challenging, but I wouldn't put it, totally out of the realm of possibility. I think the sector is booming. We do have a strong project portfolio. I'd also like to take this opportunity to say the new CEO for Godrej Properties, Gaurav, is doing an absolutely fantastic job in identifying the way that Godrej Properties must go about, leading the sector in terms of growth rates. So I think with all of those in place, I do think there is the opportunity for rapid growth ahead as well. But of course, execution on this higher base will be much tougher. And we have to be aware that, this cycle may change, at least in some markets. So I think we have to be ready for all possibilities, and certainly sustaining the kind of growth rates we've seen in the recent past on this higher base will be challenging. But overall, we've guided that through the cycles, we would expect kind of 20% growth rates. And certainly we'd like to see at least that over these next few years, even on this higher base.
Okay, all right, interesting. We were speaking to other real estate players as well, and they indicated that maybe prices will stabilize from here on because there has been a massive increase already. Do you think that's a possibility, or we will continue to see a minimum amount of price growth every year?
I think it's probably going to be a little different from market to market, because I think what we've seen to date is quite different across markets. So if I take, say NCR and Bangalore, those 2 markets, I think, have seen the most pricing growth over the last 1 or 2 years, as compared to somewhere like Maharashtra, where I think Mumbai and Pune have not seen the same kind of pricing growth. So it wouldn't surprise me if you saw kind of more moderate growth in NCR and Bangalore for a while, and you saw Maharashtra catching up a little bit.
Let's talk about cash flows and debt now. I wanted to understand, when do you think the company will be able to see a situation where operating cash flows are exceeding the business development expenses? And if it does, what does it do to your debt? It has reduced now. What kind of levels are you comfortable with when it comes to debt?
Well, I'm happy to share we actually saw exactly that situation in the fourth quarter. So we had a very strong quarter for business development. We added 2 new projects, as I mentioned, in Hyderabad with a potential booking value of about 5,000 crore. We added an exciting new project in the Noida market that has about 3,000 crore of booking value, and another project in Bangalore that we had in our system but was sort of inactive for 10 years, and that's been revived, and that has another potential 5,000 crore of booking value. So despite that kind of very strong business development during the quarter, we actually saw net debt reduce by 700 crore due to very strong operating cash flows. We had collections of about 4,700 crore in Q4, which is the highest ever quarter for the company. So, I think we've already demonstrated in a small way over a short period of a quarter that that is possible. We are very confident that operating cash flows will grow rapidly. You mentioned the growth rate in bookings, but our operating cash flow growth rate over the last 4 years has been even faster. We've been compounding at about 50% a year to over 4,000 crore of operating cash flows in financial year 24. Financial year 25 looks to be another very strong year for operating cash flows. And we do think that will give us the opportunity to considerably invest in business development. The one thing we hesitate to talk about too much is, whether net debt over the short periods will increase or reduce, because our business development numbers are never kind of set in stone. We have the directionally what we'd like to do and how we're viewing markets, but then how much actual business development happens is a function of the kind of opportunities we're seeing in the market and how many of them we're able to successfully close.
Pirojsha, I wanted to understand, there has been a development. So in terms of you being the Godrej Properties company, being the development manager to the group's large Vikhroli land, what do you think it would mean for Godrej Properties in terms of future aspects? What would it mean in terms of addition to your own books?
Yes, but actually it's not a development, because we've been the development manager for the Vikhroli land for over 10 years now. But I think it's very, very important that was clarified, that relationship will continue exactly as is. It's a very important and valuable project for Godrej Properties. I think the Vikhroli land bank owned by Godrej and Boyce is one of the most attractive land parcels anywhere in the country. So I think for Godrej Properties to continue to be associated in its capacity as development manager creates a huge opportunity for the company. It's a project I'm personally very passionate about, because in addition to the financial opportunity it provides, I think it's a wonderful opportunity to really look at urban development at scale, look at how we can think about sustainable development, and look at how we can hopefully have a positive impact at the city level for Mumbai. So really looking forward to continuing to be associated with the Vikhroli development, and very happy to note that we launched our first project under that agreement after several years in the March quarter, and saw a good response to that. So hopefully now with greater clarity, we can see a pickup in pace of activity in development in Vikhroli.
Okay, that's a big move on the stock, 5.5% higher now on Godrej Properties on the back of a very, very strong set of numbers. And they talk about how they gave us an update on their Mumbai and NCR projects as well.